The late sports journalist Grant Wahl was widely considered one of the best in his field. Over decades at Sports Illustrated magazine, Grant introduced the world to stars like LeBron James, highlighted the work of women's soccer players on and off the field, and uncovered corruption in sports' highest levels. Now, a new anthology called World Class brings together more than 36 of his best works over 4 decades of a life of storytelling, from college through his coverage of the World Cup in Qatar, where he died of an aortic aneurysm in December 2022. His wife, our friend Dr. Céline Gounder, was with Grant from the very beginning of his career. They met as students together at Princeton University. Dr. Gounder helped put the anthology together and wrote the book's foreword. Dr. Gounder is also CBS News medical contributor, and she joins us here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Céline, how difficult was it for you to look back on his writing, including the work that he did as a brilliant young journalist at Princeton, and to the moment that he passed away, looking at all of that writing and all of the work, how hard was it for you to help put this book together?
Well, it was, on the one hand, really special because we put this book together as a group of us, former colleagues of his and me, and I think that made it especially meaningful to do this together. At the same time, with each piece I read, I could remember exactly where we were in our lives together, what we were doing, and so I'm reliving, our marriage together, our relationship at the same time as we're putting this together.
You write in the foreword that you aren't a big sports person, and I know that you're not, but you, you're laughing because you know it's true, but through Grant, you realize sports is, quote, so much more than just athletics. What did you learn about that?
I think this is what made his writing so special, is it wasn't just what was happening on the field, what was happening also off the field. And if you think about what are some of the most historic moments in sports history, people like Jackie Robinson and Muhammad Ali and Billie Jean King, he understood those things in the moment. So, for example, what's been happening with women's soccer and the fight for equality, that's something he was following since the 90s. And so I think understanding what is history in the moment in terms of politics, society, and so on, he really had an eye for that.
I'm telling you, reading the book made me wish that I was really sorry I didn't get a chance to meet him, because he was so committed to this profession. At 10 years old, he gets a subscription to Sports Illustrated and writes them at 10 and says, I'm going to work for you all one day. And then he gets this particular job. This passion for him for sports came from where? And soccer in particular.
I think the passion for sports actually came from his mom. So his mom, she was born in the early 1930s. She taught PE, but as a woman, she couldn't really have a career in sports. But she was a rabid fan of all kinds of sports, Kansas City area, the Chiefs, the Royals, and so on. And I think growing up in that household, but then soccer in particular was so meaningful to him because it's the global sport. And so the way in which you're able to understand people, cultures through soccer, I think, was what made it especially meaningful.
You mentioned him writing about what's going on outside of the game. And you're right, it is easier for a journalist to retroactively talk about things that happened decades ago. But he did not. He talked about it in real time. And that's not easy when you're covering topics like corruption or societal issues. And people say, stick to sports, because you are not only putting your career on the line, you might be putting your life on the line. Did you guys have those conversations about how he was feeling when covering these things?
Yeah, first of all, he hated when people would tell him stick to sports. It drove him crazy. But yeah, one of the last things he did in his career was wearing that rainbow flag soccer T-shirt. He thought it was really important to stand in solidarity with LGBTQ people.
In Qatar.
In Qatar, right? Because that was, it's very difficult to be LGBTQ there. His older brother is also a gay man. And I think, yes, he absolutely put his own security on the line at certain points, but that's also why I really loved him, is he was all about his values, and he did not have any trouble really being very vocal about that.
And he stood for something.
He stood for something.
How are you navigating this? Just walking in and seeing his picture, and we've got big blow-ups in the studio. We're getting into soccer season, and it's been, close to 2 years. How are you navigating all of this, Céline?
It makes me think about, there's a letter that the president sent me after Grant passed away. And he says, there will come a time when thinking about Grant doesn't make you cry, but brings a smile to your face. And I think I might finally starting to get there. You know, I'm so proud of what he did, and I'm so happy that we were able to pull this together.
Yes, you write in the book too. Grief is, takes on many forms. It's not about moving. It's not about moving on. It's about moving forward. You certainly seem to be trying to do that.
Céline, this is a
Bringing this
beautiful
book to
book.
life.
It really is. And the proceeds from this will help establish a journalism award at Princeton University.
Yes,
Grant
in
would
his
be happy-
name.
In his name. Grant
Yes.
would be happy about that. Dr. Céline Gounder, thank you. World Class is available right now.